When I found you, I found somebody who cares. When I found you, found my most intimate prayer.
Thank you for joining this teaching. Last time I started a new series on conflicts in marriage, and I explained that conflict is not totally a bad thing. There are some positive sides to conflict in marriage. I did mention that it strengthens love if it is well managed. I also explained that conflict that is well managed could also strengthen intimacy, could enhance understanding, and makes marriage to grow. Today I want to mention some negative consequences of conflict, and the first that comes to mind is depression. When there is conflict in marriage and it is not properly managed, one of the first sign, the early danger sign that you will see is that one of the two parties may be expressing or experiencing depression, meaning that the person, you will discover that this individual may be withdrawing to himself, may not be able to express himself. And depression tends to lead to other terrible things. For example, it may cause poor health conditions. You may have heard of people who became psychopathic, who developed mental issues because of problems in marriage, because of conflict in marriage. So conflict in marriage can cause depression, and it can lead to poor health condition. Conflict in marriage could also cause anxiety, and sometimes it causes eating disorder, because because there is conflict, because there is disagreement between him and his wife, her and her husband, you may discover that person may be losing appetite. And you know that once you are beginning to lose appetite, it's a symptom that something else that is not very good is coming on the way. So that's one other reason why we must deal with conflict. We must manage conflict very well in marriage. But there are worse consequences of conflict, and this one I want to mention is something that every family needs to be very careful of. You need to be aware of it and be very careful of it, because conflict can affect the family life, and it can affect the future of the children. When I say conflict can affect family life, I mean to say that when there is conflict, it may be difficult for that marriage to grow. Amos 3:3 says, "Can two walk together except they be agreed?" So two people that are involved in marriage are expected to agree together for them to work together. Marriage is expected to be an addition. When you are married, you are expected, your life is supposed to advance, it's supposed to progress. But we're in a situation where there is conflict, unresolved conflict, unmanaged conflict, then it may be difficult for such couple to grow together, to move together. That reminds me of the story of a particular couple. Immediately after They just got married. They needed to go and visit the husband's family in the village. Unfortunately, the sister happens to be from a well-to-do home, and the brother from a poor background, and the parents of the brother were living in the village. So while they were on their way to the village, they needed to climb motorcycle and all of that, pass through rough road. And while they were going, as they were to climb Okada, the sister was shouting on Okada, "Jesus, hey, up my head," things like that. And at some point, the brother became uncomfortable, and he said, "Why are you shouting like that? Are you a devil?" And that was the beginning of a serious trouble, because the brother said, "Are you a devil?" when it was night time, and the sister would like to, he would like to travel. You understand what I mean? The brother wanted to go to Jerusalem, new couple. So the sister said, "No way. You want to touch a devil?" The brother said, "But I didn't mean it. I was just," he said, "No, no, 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 no. You could not have not meant it. You meant it. I'm a devil. So you can't touch me. Don't sleep with a devil. Don't touch a devil." And this thing I'm telling you lasted for about 3 years. The first 3 years of their marriage, the sister will not allow the brother to touch her, just because the brother said, "Are you a devil?" Now that's an offshoot of unresolved conflict. That tells you that their first child is likely going to come after the 4th year of their marriage, or possibly at the 4th year of their marriage, because it was, I think, about the 3rd year that they got a help to a man of God who intervened through the help of the Holy Spirit. So what I'm saying is that conflict, unresolved conflict, it pulls back a marriage. So conflict can it affect family life. Then I also said that conflict affects the future of the children. In a situation whereby there is a conflict in a marriage, it's the children, they're the one that tend to suffer the most in such a relationship. There is an adage in my place that says, where two elephants fight, it is the grass that will suffer. So in this case, who are the two elephants? The husband and the wife. The grass are the children. So the children will suffer. It may affect the education of the children. It may affect the marriage of the children. And this is very important. If you marry a lady that comes from unhappy home, if you marry a lady that comes from a broken home, you should know that she is a potential problem, except for the help of God, because her knowledge of marriage is deformed. Her experience about marriage is distorted. So marriage, conflicts in home affect the future of the children. It affects their educational future. It affects their marriage, and it can also affect their finances. Such people that come from unhappy home, separated home with regular conflict, they tend not to trust anybody, financially and otherwise. So conflict and unresolved conflict tend to affect the future of the children. Not only does conflict affect the future of the children, it can also affect children physically and emotionally. It can affect children's health. It can make children not to be healthy. Apart from that, it can make them to be emotionally imbalanced. It can make them to be emotionally, psychologically imbalanced. You just notice that some children, they grow up not to be able to express themselves. They cannot, they have poor communication skills. It may be because such person came from home where there are, regular conflicts. So conflict can lead to poor communication in the life of the children. It can affect their emotion. It can affect them psychologically. Now, another thing is that conflict can lead to, I'm still talking about its effect in the life of the children. It can lead to a distorted belief about marriage. Some people just naturally grow up to believe that marriage is bad. They grow up to believe that all men are wicked. They grow up to believe that all women are bad. I was listening to a question asked by a young man of late. He asked a particular pastor, and the pastor was trying to provide solution to that question. The brother said he doesn't understand why all the sisters he had ever come in contact with and he had ever thought of marrying are witches or they have familiar spirits. When the brother asked the question, the pastor could not help laughing. How can you say all the sisters that you have come in contact with are either witches or they have familiar spirits? Then it means that it is you that have problem. You have problem. It is what you are looking for that you will find. From my personal experience, I discovered this. Now, at a time in my life when my wife and I we were thinking of buying a car called Toyota Camry. I never knew Toyota Camry was as common. At that time as I eventually discovered. But the moment we were thinking of buying a Toyota Camry, I discovered that if 5-6 vehicle passes, or if 5 vehicle pass, you will see at least one Toyota Camry. So I didn't know. But because I had made up my mind, I wanted to buy Toyota Camry, it became so obvious to me that there are many, they are available. At another time in life when we wanted to buy another car called Toyota Matrix, suddenly everywhere I go, I saw Toyota Matrix. What am I talking about? Your belief, what you have in your mind, oftentimes determines what you see. If you believe that all men are wicked, you will see a lot of wickedness in men. If you also believe that all women are witches, you will discover that in fact, they are not just witches, they are ogbanje. But if you believe that women are good, women are wonderful, women are a blessing, that is what you will see. What am I talking about? I'm trying to say that one of the negative consequences of conflict is that it produces a distorted belief in one. That is why a lot of marriages today are not working out. Because when somebody walks into a marriage with a distorted belief, he cannot get the best from that marriage. So if you're in marriage and you are experiencing regular conflict, you need to know that you need to fix it, not just because of you. You need to manage it well, not just because of you, but because of your children. Because indirectly you are destroying their future. Indirectly you are helping them to ruin their future, to ruin their marriage. And one last thing I want to say about consequences of conflict in marriage is that it can also lead to extreme emotional disorder. It can lead to extreme emotional disorder. I've mentioned something like this earlier on. I've seen people that maybe because of certain conflict in the marriage, the sister or the brother, the man or the woman develop serious mental problem, extreme emotional disorder. I've seen people who, because of a particular conflict in marriage, the temperament of that person changed totally. Somebody who used to be lively, outspoken, became so depressed. He would just sit down and be looking. So when conflict is not well managed, it can even shorten people's life. Worst of it all, when conflict in marriage is not well managed, it can send people to hell. Sometimes I pity some young people. You see particular terrible habit in the life of a woman. So there are some terrible habits like that. And you say, I will manage. Instead of you managing that person, the person may be the one that will manage you, and you may eventually land in hellfire. I pray that this will not be your portion. So we all need to manage for those who are already in marriage, you need to manage conflicts in your home and take best advantage of it so that your marriage can be heaven on earth. I pray for you that the Lord Almighty will sustain your marriage and will keep you together in love. Thank you for watching. God bless you in Jesus' name.